I just like to express this one thing. All these girls be like, thank you to my man. And I want to say, to my hands, thank you to my hands. To my hands, thank you to my hands. Listen, for me knowing how to fight and me training hard, I make millions of dollars just from beating people up. So, to my hands, thank you to my hands. To my hands, thank you to my hands.
What started as a seemingly ordinary interview ended up sparking a much bigger conversation online, all because of one small detail that many viewers couldn't stop talking about. According to fans watching closely, a simple pair of sunglasses appeared to reveal emotions that words alone could not hide, and the reaction that followed only added fuel to an already complicated situation involving Papoose, Claressa Shields, and Remy Ma. The internet has been buzzing ever since, with people dissecting every moment and trying to understand what is really happening beneath the surface. What unfolded wasn't just another celebrity interview. For many viewers, it looked like a glimpse into unresolved emotions, lingering attachments, and relationship dynamics that may not be as settled as they appear publicly. The discussion began when Papoose sat down for an interview with DJ Vlad. On the surface, everything seemed completely normal. Throughout the conversation, he appeared confident, relaxed, and engaged. He spoke comfortably about his music career, business ventures, international travel, and various accomplishments. His energy was positive, and he appeared fully in control of the conversation. However, many viewers noticed a shift when the discussion moved toward Remy Ma. According to people watching the interview, there was a noticeable change in his demeanor. His tone seemed softer, his body language appeared more reserved, and his overall energy felt different from earlier portions of the conversation. While everyone may interpret these moments differently, social media users quickly began analyzing every expression, pause, and response. One particular detail attracted a significant amount of attention. Papoose was wearing sunglasses during the portion of the interview where questions about Remy Ma came up. While sunglasses by themselves may not seem important, some viewers viewed them as symbolic. Since he has participated in many interviews over the years without attempting to conceal his emotions, some people interpreted the choice as an effort to maintain privacy or composure while discussing a sensitive topic. Whether that interpretation is accurate or not, it quickly became part of the online narrative. Fans began suggesting that the sunglasses represented more than just a fashion choice. To them, it appeared as though he was trying to shield emotions that he preferred not to display publicly. The conversation became even more interesting when DJ Vlad brought up the period between 2023 and 2024, when Remy Ma was publicly linked to battle rapper Easy the Block Captain. At the time, Papoose and Remy were still legally married, making the situation a major topic of public discussion. When asked about that period of his life, Papoose remained relatively measured in his response. He avoided going into excessive detail but acknowledged that it was a difficult chapter. He also referenced tension surrounding the situation, including reports of confrontation involving Easy. What stood out to many viewers was not necessarily what he said, but how he said it. His pauses, facial expressions, and careful choice of words led some people to believe that the experience still carried emotional weight. Rather than sounding completely detached from the situation, some viewers felt he was speaking about a chapter that still affected him on a personal level. Throughout the interview, one phrase continued to surface repeatedly. Family comes first. Papoose emphasized the importance of family multiple times, and that immediately sparked discussion online. Social media users began debating what exactly he meant and who he was referring to. For many people, the word family naturally brings thoughts of the life he built over the years, the people closest to him, and the relationships that shaped a major portion of his adult life. As a result, viewers started speculating about how those comments might be perceived by Claressa Shields. Some believe hearing him place such a strong emphasis on family could create questions about where his emotional priorities truly lie, especially given the public history surrounding his marriage. Whether those assumptions are fair or not, the internet quickly transformed the discussion into a larger debate about loyalty, emotional attachment, and moving on after a long-term relationship. Then the interview took another interesting turn. DJ Vlad brought up comments that Claressa Shields herself has made publicly regarding Papoose and the role he plays in her life. Specifically, the discussion touched on statements suggesting that Papoose contributes significantly to her daily expenses and provides substantial support. The moment immediately caught viewers' attention because it introduced another layer to an already complicated narrative. Suddenly, The conversation was no longer just about past relationships. It became about present dynamics, financial support, public perception, and the way relationships are viewed by fans and critics alike. As clips from the interview began circulating online, social media users wasted no time sharing their opinions. Some argued that Papoose still appears emotionally affected by his past, while others insisted that people were reading far too much into simple gestures and comments. Meanwhile, others focused on Claressa Shields' reactions and public statements, suggesting that she may be paying close attention to how Papoose discusses Remy Ma and their shared history. According to these online theories, moments like these create uncertainty because they remind everyone that some relationships leave a lasting impact, even after circumstances change. What makes this situation so fascinating to the public is that it combines several elements people cannot resist discussing: love, loyalty, marriage, family, public image, and emotional healing. Every interview, social media post, and public appearance becomes another clue that fans attempt to piece together in order to understand what is really happening behind the scenes. At the end of the day, much of the conversation remains speculation. Only the people directly involved truly know how they feel and where their relationships stand. However, one thing is undeniable. A single interview sparked an enormous amount of discussion because viewers believed they saw emotions that could not be hidden, regardless of what was actually said. And whether people agree with those interpretations or not, the internet has clearly decided that this story is far from over. As the interview continued, the conversation moved into an area that immediately caught viewers' attention. DJ Vlad brought up statements that Claressa Shields has made publicly regarding her relationship with Papoose. Over the past several months, she has openly spoken about the role he plays in her life, often describing him as someone who takes care of major responsibilities and helps provide stability. According to her public comments, Papoose handles many of the important expenses associated with their lifestyle. The discussion included everything from housing and transportation to travel and other day-to-day costs. Because those claims had already been shared publicly, many people assumed the interview would provide an opportunity for Papoose to either confirm or clarify them. From the audience's perspective, it seemed like a straightforward moment. The topic had already been introduced, the statements were already circulating online, and all eyes were on his response. If he agreed with what had been said, it would have instantly reinforced the narrative that had been presented to the public, but that's not exactly how the conversation unfolded. Instead of directly validating those claims, Papoose took the discussion in a different direction. Rather than focusing on who pays for what, he began talking about his own accomplishments, career achievements, business ventures, investments, music catalog, touring opportunities, and personal success. He highlighted the work he has put into building his career and establishing himself professionally. For many viewers, the response felt noticeably indirect. Rather than giving a simple yes or no answer, he appeared more interested in discussing what he had personally achieved over the years. While some interpreted that as a strategic way of avoiding private relationship details, others felt it was a subtle attempt to distance himself from the public image that had been created around their relationship. Then came the part that really fueled conversation across social media. During the discussion, Papoose referenced what he described as false narratives. While he did not specifically name every claim he was referring to, many viewers immediately connected those comments to some of the stories and descriptions that have been circulating online. That single phrase generated a tremendous amount of speculation. The reason it attracted so much attention is because social media users began asking a simple question. If everything being said publicly was completely accurate, why introduce the idea of false narratives at all? Of course, there are multiple ways to interpret his comments. Some people believe he was simply protecting his privacy and avoiding details about his personal life. Others think he was attempting to correct certain assumptions without creating additional drama. And then there are those who believe his response suggested that the public version of events may not fully reflect reality. Regardless of which interpretation is correct, one thing became clear. Viewers walked away from that segment with more questions than answers. The discussion quickly shifted from what was actually said to what was left unsaid. Many people argued that if someone consistently presents a particular version of a relationship publicly, and their partner is later given an opportunity to support that version but chooses not to, it naturally creates curiosity. It does not automatically mean anyone is being dishonest, but it does encourage people to wonder whether the full story is more complicated than it appears. That curiosity only intensified after clips from the interview began circulating online. Shortly afterward, Claressa Shields appeared visibly frustrated during a live stream that quickly caught the attention of bloggers and social media commentators. Throughout the stream, she addressed critics, challenged various narratives, and pushed back against the growing speculation surrounding her relationship. Her frustration was obvious. She criticized bloggers, accused certain commentators of spreading misinformation, and repeatedly insisted that many of the stories being told were inaccurate. The more she spoke, the more people began analyzing every word, searching for clues about what specifically had triggered such a strong reaction. What stood out to many observers, however, was that while she repeatedly demanded that people tell the truth, she never clearly identified which specific claim she was disputing. Instead of addressing one allegation directly and providing evidence against it, the conversation remained broad and emotional. As a result, viewers were left trying to determine exactly what she was responding to. That lack of specificity became a major talking point. Critics argued that when someone responds primarily with frustration rather than direct clarification, it can sometimes create even more questions. Supporters, on the other hand, pointed out that constantly being discussed online can become exhausting and emotional, making it difficult to respond calmly in the moment. Either way, the live stream added another layer to an already complicated public narrative. When people began connecting the dots, they focused on two moments that occurred close together. First, viewers saw what they perceived as an emotional shift from Papoose whenever the conversation turned toward Remy Ma and their shared history. Whether those interpretations were accurate or not, many people believed they noticed a change in his demeanor when discussing that chapter of his life. Second, they watched him avoid directly confirming the financial narrative that had been associated with his current relationship. For some viewers, those two moments combined to create a much larger story. The internet quickly developed theories suggesting that the interview may have revealed tensions that had previously remained hidden from public view. According to those theories, seeing someone appear emotionally connected to a significant chapter of their past while simultaneously refusing to reinforce a current public narrative could create uncertainty within any relationship. Again, these are largely interpretations created by viewers rather than confirmed facts. However, in the world of celebrity relationships, perception often drives conversation just as much as reality. The result was an explosion of speculation across social media platforms, with people debating everything from emotional attachments and loyalty to public image and relationship dynamics. As the discussion continued, another topic emerged that added even more intrigue. Some online commentators began revisiting how the relationship initially developed, questioning timelines, circumstances, and who may have pursued whom in the early stages. Those conversations have only added to the growing curiosity surrounding the situation. Whether any of the speculation proves accurate remains unclear. What is certain, however, is that a single interview created far more discussion than anyone probably expected. What started as a routine media appearance quickly turned into one of the most talked about celebrity relationship conversations online. And judging by the reactions across social media, people are still trying to figure out what really happened beneath the surface and whether the public story matches the private reality. As more details continued circulating online, the conversation surrounding Papoose, Claressa Shields, and Remy Ma only became more complicated. What started as speculation about an interview quickly expanded into a broader discussion about how the relationship may have actually begun and whether the public narrative matches what allegedly happened behind the scenes.